If you're an Xbox fan and you're, listening to this video, I recommend that you please pay attention to exactly what is going on with the Marvel Spider-Man 2 situation. For the longest time, commentators and even folk around the gaming conversation have posited that the reason you're seeing Xbox bring its games to other platforms is because it needs sales. Well, I'm sure those same people will agree very much with me now in today's new, or I guess I'll say in the last 24 hours. Now, we've heard a little bit about this Marvel Spider-Man 2 game coming to PC much earlier than other games, that at the end of the day, sales are the main thing. However, I wanted to point out what I think are a few pertinent conversational pieces that we haven't necessarily seen. Number one, this game, Marvel Spider-Man 2, has had its DLC canceled. So let's go ahead and take a look at that story by Kotaku here that they wrote. It's the first one that I saw on the search list. So I'm just clicking it. Now, this says no plans for Marvel Spider-Man 2 story DLC, Insomniac confirms. Now, game developer Insomniac confirmed that the studio has no plans to develop story DLC for 2023's action-adventure Spider-Man 2, likely disappointing many fans who'd been hoping for more content. Many of you may have remembered that they actually did shows of some trailer of multiplayer leaked with this Spider-Man game. I don't think that trailer is going anywhere. However, if you remember the Insomniac leaks, we saw that they wanted to actually take this Spider-Man game and make 3 titles out of it. So far, it's not yet, fully confirmed that there's not going to be a multiplayer mode for this game. Now, it may not be the exact same mode, but again, the leaks kind of pointed that they wanted to sell the game in 3 parts to make as much money as possible. So seeing the game get, in quote, cut short to quickly get the PC port out is, number one, a sales metric, or I guess I'll say in pursuit of better sales, because already the game has sold about 12 million on PlayStation, but PlayStation cannot sit there while its game has pretty much made its way to the high seas via the Brazil version. I don't know if you guys know, when Insomniac Leak actually, went out, people got hold of the files and they compiled the freaking game, and people on PC have been playing this game since they got their hold on that. I hate that. Because again, I'm not going to sit here and promote, sailing the high seas. However, it does, in a sense, help you think through, like, okay, circumstances really do change very fast. When you put this in perspective, for those of you who are on Xbox and you're seeing what's going on, you realize that PlayStation is in the same place as Xbox. Xbox just felt no need to, pretend. It's the PlayStation, I don't know how to put it, perception-based scenarios that has actually started moving things in a weird way that have made people have a false sense of confidence that PlayStation is fine where it is. In reality, it really isn't. Think about, the Black Myth Wukong scenario and the Black Myth, situation. I think PlayStation is starting to realize that there is a strong PC base that can actually buy your game. Not saying that their game is going to sell 20 million copies in 1 week. I doubt that they're capable of doing that now, seeing that most of their games are being developed by creatives who are antagonistic against their own audiences. But at least if they're going to make a decent game, they might as well capitalize on as many sales as they possibly can. So if their games are good and they take them to PC, people are going to buy them day one. The challenge, though, is trying to pawn off those games after they've been released. And so they're realizing that the longer we wait, people are not too interested in waiting for us because of our third-party people who are bringing their games to our platforms to basically choke our games. Now, think about this. Marvel Spider-Man 2 is going to be coming in January 30th, right? If you're somebody that plays like on PC or Xbox and you have access to Game Pass, you're probably going to be looking at it going, I wasn't even playing the game this early anyways. I'll probably just wait for it to go on a sale and you have access to games that you can deal with, or games in your backlog that you're probably not going to have to play. So they're realizing that this backlog continues to fill up for a lot of players. So they need to probably get themselves on the backlog or wait till the backlog is actually, in a sense, convenient enough for other players to want to buy their game. They continue writing. On October 18th, Insomniac and Sony announced that Spider-Man 2 was coming to PC in January, just 15 months after it launched exclusively on PlayStation 5 to rave reviews. You see, Xbox didn't play around. When they announced their Indiana Jones move, it was literally about 3 months. They right there in date say, hey man, here's Indiana Jones for PlayStation for those of you, I say for PlayStation. Here's Indiana Jones for Xbox for, those of you who are on Game Pass as well. You're going to get it day one. However, those of you who are on PlayStation, if you're interested in playing this game, you get it literally 2 months after. And people were upset in some cases. And I was looking going, what do you mean? This is an expensive game to make. Indiana Jones is a Lucasfilm, IP. If you're going to get those, if you're going to actually make a game about that, get ready to pay up. This is not something that, you really just want to just sit on there and then let the game be costing you money on the front end to develop. And then on the back end, every time you make sales, you really got to push out sales. So Indiana Jones has a head start on Marvel Spider-Man 2. Even though it's not as popular with a lot of our, generation, or I guess I'll say demographics who are looking to play maybe Spider-Man 2, at least it'll still get itself in the front of more people. And this is exactly what needs to happen. I made a video years ago. I think, was it years ago? Maybe a year or 2 years ago, about the possibility of PlayStation bringing its games to Xbox. Some people have laughed at me, in those videos. And I've said, okay, well, it's only a matter of time. Let's just wait and see if they can really continue this hardlining of not bringing their games to Xbox. Because Xbox has a lot of players that will probably pay for these PlayStation games. But more and more, as the competition goes in for a lot of these games, a lot of these Xbox players are probably, in a position where they're like, I probably wouldn't need to bother anymore because I just have a lot of games in front of me as alternatives. But a different conversation for a different day. So as they announced this, they also announced that the studio is not working or planning any future story DLC for Marvel Spider-Man 2 on PC or PS5. So this is the most that's going to be gotten from this particular game. I think the anthology framework is what PlayStation is going to be pursuing from now on. They're going to make these games, and then they're going to make small games that follow and, are attached to the universe that have similar mechanics. The next game, according to the leak that we saw, was the Venom game, I think. And then I think there was supposed to be like a Carnage game. So again, they already understand that if we're going to spend $300 million, we might as well, spread these games out as much as we possibly can. Now, in seeing that, I'm not really a fan of that because it's not following exactly what Marvel Spider-Man did in 2018. However, this to me actually is much better than them spending money money hiding games from other publishers and other studios. So they might as well just put that money in their own ecosystem at the end of the day, because it just serves them much better at, when you actually consider all things, being equal. Think about it. They get to make these anthologies. They get to pretty much make another game where you could actually enjoy within the universe. And then at the end of the day, you as a PlayStation player, you're not getting cheated from a possible PlayStation game that you could actually play. It's to me is a win-win. There's no way PlayStation has not considered this with many of their other titles, or if maybe they're just considering it, good for them. But you could tell they already considered it with the Spider-Man game. And this is why I've always said that Insomniac was the studio that was the blueprint for what many other studios under PlayStation should have been doing all this while. Neil Druckmann's studio, or I guess I'll say Naughty Dog, where Neil Druckmann is running things, to me doesn't have the output of Insomniac. They need to get themselves together. They need to restructure and reorganize, maybe even get another studio to back them up in doing this. And PlayStation has now gone to sink, hundreds of millions into the studio that made Concord for them. So funds are everywhere. Focus is out of line. And I strongly believe that they need to focus on just making games. There's also the side of moving the team to make Wolverine, which is also going to be another expensive IP. So they want to take their focus and they want to start, pushing out games, single player games, as much as they can. I wouldn't be surprised where down the road we pretty much see the X-Men game, which is supposed to be a live service game, land day and date. And to me, even before then, there's no way they're going to be sitting on these games. As technology is advancing, people on the console side are looking and saying, we want more performance. They're looking at the PS5 Pro. The PS5 Pro is the most single piece of evidence that more and more console players want to get more and more performance for their money. And as many of them are looking at this generation, I think they're starting to realize, like, okay, what is the difference between the console and the PC overall, and where can I get the best benefit for my money? Some console players have started investing in handhelds as an entry point into the PC platform. Some are getting a PC to back up their base PS5, or they're moving into, the PC from their Xboxes. And I think this shift is going to continue, and PlayStation understands this. Many have been saying that the 60 million sales that PlayStation have sold are tracking to follow the PS4. I don't think that movement is going as fast as many would love for it to go, because again, hardware is changing so fast and people are seeing this. And so at the end of the day, I think PlayStation is making moves to be able to hedge itself to make sure that it can sell software. I'll leave the topic here for now. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching the video. Appreciate you guys' time and audience, and hopefully we'll talk pretty soon in another one. Peace out.